Today we're doing a solo override for Nail to the Tracks by Backtrack. If you know the song, you know it never had a solo. It has some small lead moments that add a nice punch, but not a true solo in the traditional sense. But that's exactly why this series exists. I've always loved hardcore riffs, the raw, driving energy, but I also love lead guitar playing. So solo override is where I fuse those two worlds and imagine how a solo could fit into a song that never had one. For this track, I decided to drop a solo over the chorus section. In the original, there are vocals present and no lead guitar at all. So in this version, I'm imagining the solo either replaces the vocals entirely on one of the repetitions, or it acts like a follow-up burst of energy after the chorus that already exists. Either way, the goal isn't to hijack the song. It's to take it somewhere else for a moment, leave a mark, and then get right back to the riffage. Even though I'm adding my own part, I'm still being mindful of the genre. This isn't a full-minute shred fest, it's hardcore. So it's fast, it's aggressive, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I treated this solo like an 8-bar hit and run. Come in with intention, say something that fits the attitude of the track, don't get self-indulgent, and then get out before it feels like a different genre. Now, when it came to actually building this solo, I wanted my note choices to stay closely tied to what's already happening in the song. One of my personal dislikes with a lot of attempted solos in this style is when players default to a minor pentatonic box and start throwing blues licks over riffs where they don't really fit to my ears. This song is centered around F sharp as a 2nd fret power chord. The guitars are tuned to full step down, so it sounds lower, but for theory purposes, we're treating the fretboard like standard tuning. The main riff is constantly bouncing between G at the 3rd fret and F sharp at the 2nd fret. That half-step motion is the backbone of the track. And to me, that's textbook Phrygian territory. You've got that flat 2nd baked right into the DNA of the riff, so I wanted to exploit that in the solo. But I didn't want to just sit in traditional Phrygian. There's something interesting happening in the pre-chorus, bars 24 and 25 if you're following along with my transcription of the track. The rhythm guitars move from a 5th fret power chord up to a 6th fret power chord. Those roots are A and B flat. Now in regular F sharp Phrygian, the 4th degree would be B natural, but the song is clearly using a B flat in that pre-chorus moment. That gives us a flat 4, which puts us in Phrygian flat 4 territory. That flat 4 isn't played in the chorus and the underlying rhythm guitar, it only shows up in the pre-chorus. But since that chorus is mostly just vamping that G to F sharp motion, we can absolutely carry that flat 4 flavor into the solo and still stay consistent with the vibe of the song. So with that sound in mind, the first thing I did was map out a few different positions of this F sharp Phrygian flat 4 scale across the neck. Now, I wasn't pulling from a mental database of Phrygian flat 4 scales that I've studied for hours. I just approached it very simplistically and musically. I already know Phrygian well, so quickly subbing in some flat 4s was a minor adjustment to make on the fly. The more you truly understand theory, the more you can make it work for you and implement small changes to core concepts that you have command over. It's the 80-20 principle at work. This is the backbone of my core curriculum over on Shred Lab, and why spending so much time with the Phrygian mode and natural minor scale is crucial. Always strive to truly comprehend what you're studying as opposed to just copying a pattern. But this gave me a color palette that's rooted in the song's actual harmony. In the end, I pulled from 3 different areas of the fretboard, and I'll show you all of them with custom diagrams that members on the site can also download for further study. Now there's one more thing to be aware of when using this Phrygian flat 4 scale over the chorus. That's the C power chord. Aside from the G to F sharp motion, the only other chord that we have to play over is a C power chord on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Now here's the catch. The 5th of that chord is G, which is in our scale. It's the flat 2nd and it gives us that core Phrygian sound. But the root of the chord, C, is not in our scale, so we have to treat that carefully. If you play the 5th degree of our scale, C sharp over that C chord, it can clash pretty hard. Now there are no rules here, and this is heavy music, so if you like that tension, go for it. But personally, I tried to avoid hanging on that C sharp over the C chord. In bar 8 of my solo, you'll see that I actually alter away from the scale for a moment. I bend the 11th fret on the 2nd string, that's a B flat, the flat 4, and I bend it up a full step to C natural to tie in with the underlying harmony. This is a perfect example of using scales as tools and not cages. You start with a framework, but you're not afraid to step outside it when the harmony calls for it. That's how you make your lead lines follow the song more closely instead of fighting against it, especially in heavy riff-based music that is often using a lot of chromaticism and not locked into one scale entirely. Now before showing you my take, I want to make something clear about this series. I'm not here to break down every lick note for note. The whole point of Solo Override is to show you how I think, give you a creative framework, and then encourage you to come up with your own ideas. You're absolutely welcome to learn my solo after I show it to you, and I encourage you to do so. It's a great way to pick up phrasing concepts and how I navigate the harmony with the flat 4 scale in this case. But I also want you to experiment, explore, and write something that feels like you. Study my ideas, but then make them your own. If you want the full transcription and the backing track, they're available on shredlab.com, but use them as inspiration, not limitation. All right, that's the mindset behind this solo override. Respect the song, respect the style, and still find a way to inject your voice into it. I would love to hear what you guys can come up with, so if you take the challenge, please share your ideas with me and send them my way. Let's check out my solo, and then you can dive in and create your own version. Happy shredding.